6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Good to see you all. Yay, do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay. Then we're going to move right to agenda item number 2, which is Tony's report, finance report.
Thank you.
Mm.
The report for the month of October, and we've seen a slight uptick in our interest income, although this is largely depends on how rates perform for the rest of the year. But so far, through the first 4 months of the year, we are doing better than our projection. So I've put in a slight surplus in that account, and we'll see how that goes. We are do have a slight deficit so far in building permit revenue and in transfer station revenues. We'll see how that building, how the timing is on some of the construction, and maybe that could change as we go forward. But that is where we are currently, and we will continue to monitor electricity. There will probably be some departments where we'll have to fund the deficit, and some departments, however, may be able to absorb it within their budget. So we'll see how we progress there. And I think that's it.
Shortest report ever.
Not much happening so far, which is good.
Okay. And you don't want and the Board of Education status stuff is just in there. Did you want to say anything about the audit?
No, that's just for us, just for your information.
FYI. Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
So, what is the update on the ARP funds?
Well, first I'll say the audit. Update on the audit is we are continuing to make progress. I'm hopeful to have a draft of the financial statements probably right after the holiday. So it is interesting how previously we used to have a team in the town hall parked at the back, and they would, go through all our stuff, and there would be like 2 or 3 people, and they'd be here for 3 weeks or whatever. Now it's all virtual, and you have somebody in Minneapolis who just does the cash, and someone in Texas that does fixed assets, and somebody so they've specialized all around the country. So it's just a little different than we're used to doing it, but I suppose that's the new way of things. So we're almost at a draft point, and we anticipate issuing on time, which
So
is
when
by
you say-
12/31 we're required to issue our audit.
Okay. So when you say that you anticipate it to be done close to just after the holiday, you mean
I
Christmas?
meant we're going to draft just after Thanksgiving. Then I'll go through the draft. I have to do some schedules related to the draft,
Okay.
put together a couple of letters to accompany the draft financials, and then we get all that out by 12/31.
Okay. Any questions on that? Nope. Okay. Now we're going to get to the ARP funds.
Yep. So the ARP funds, that's a little bit of background on this first. So when the ARP funds first came out, it was, the towns were allocated a certain amount based on a formula, and you had to use it for certain eligible costs, unless a certain portion of it could be used for what's called revenue loss, right? So the government assumed that because of COVID, that governments lost revenue, and therefore it's called revenue replacement, essentially. And you can use if you were less than $10 million, which we are, then you can use it for revenue loss, which we did, and therefore government services, you can use the funds for government services generally to include any service traditionally provided by a government unless the Treasury has stated otherwise. For example, can't add it to your fund balance, can't pay down debt service, can't pay down your OPEB obligation, and you can't pay down a pension. Those are some of the things that are restricted and that you cannot do. But other than that, it's pretty wide open in terms of any service traditionally provided by a government. So we had allocated the funds to a series of projects and I have a spreadsheet in your package which outlines some of the projects that we've spent the ARP funds on. So we've received 2.6, a little under $2.6 million, and there are three categories. There's funds we've spent, funds we've obligated but have not spent yet. That means when I say obligated, that means we have a contract, and funds that we have proposed but we have not yet obligated. And those funds have to be obligated by the 12/31, or the treasurer will take the money back. Okay, so we originally had $500,000 earmarked for the LOTSIP grant, which is the improvements down in the business district. So let's go through some of the projects, and I'll explain how we have some money left over. So we've spent
Hey, Tony,
275.
can I ask one quick question before we
Sure.
start going on the list? What constitutes a proposal for the purposes of the spreadsheet?
The proposal would be something that the town, through this process, has through the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and or has appropriated the funds for it. In other words,
So,
you've given us permission to spend it on it yet, but we haven't spent it. We haven't obligated the funds.
And
so
and
there
it
was
doesn't
like a
and it doesn't
motion.
it doesn't have to necessarily be under contract, right?
Right. Well, it does by 12/31.
By
So
12/31, right?
right. So the proposed ones are ones that the selectmen have approved.
And Tony, did we present some of these at the annual town meeting, and and I know we're moving
So-
some stuff around.
I was going to get to that.
Okay.
That's when I'll explain what happened. So the center gym, with the senior center, 275,000. The center gym, 333,000. We've spent the LOTSIP application. That was part of the business district allocation of about $1 million. That we spent to apply for the LOTSIP funds for the LOTSIP grant. We spent that. We've spent $270,000 on road paving. All those were in the budget. All those were in the town meeting. All those were spent. Also in the budget in the town meeting was $333,000 for the fire training and storage facility. That's been obligated. We have a contract with a vendor who's currently doing the work. $423,700 is for SLR to, now that we're awarded the LOTSIP grant, that's for SLR to design the improvements. So those are engineering fees that SLR will be using to design the roughly $7 million, $8 million LOTSIP grant down in the business district. And $334,000 was just awarded, and we're sort of in contract stage right now for the community center improvements. So when we were doing our LOTSIP proposal, part of the grant that we didn't think we were going to get covered was for once the job has started, for observation on the job, right? To have boots on the ground, have our representative observe the construction and just make sure essentially that all the plans are being followed, etc. And as Dwight knows, that's pretty common on a construction project, and this is what we'd be doing on that project. So anyway, the grant covered it. We got it awarded in the grant. So there was a $500,000 we had earmarked for that we didn't have to use for it.
That's good.
So it freed up about $500,000. So the selectmen, we've reviewed this a few times with the selectmen. We've been at several meetings with the selectmen, and one of their goals was to try to fund as many projects as we could that were in the capital budget last year that would most likely be in the capital budget this year. That would help to reduce the budget. So most of these, although not all, were from the capital budget from last year, including the recreation treadmill, public works pickup truck, large cutting mower, the baseball grooming machine. The 2 sidewalk amounts would have been in the capital budget. The playground improvements at the Board of Education, and the police vehicle. All those were in the capital budget, and therefore this grant will pay for those items, therefore we could reduce the capital budget in the upcoming budget. The Board of Ed automatic doors was a request of the Board of Education, and it's to allow for automatic entry into the school for students that have trouble with the door because of a disability or of some sort or another, and that's something they've been looking to do, and so that we agreed to do. The center cupola, so as you can see, we're doing work on the center cupola, and so when they got up to the top of the cupola, they realized that the actual dome itself was leaking, and it's just in really terrible shape, and so this is to fix the leaks at the top of the cupola and put a copper dome on the top.
Right.
So, which I think would look real nice. Apparently, it was a formerly really thin copper that was painted with gold paint or something. That's what it's like there currently. So, so that's what that's for. And the two at the top, Mika can help me fill in some of the gaps on these. One is for the Country Club of Woodridge master plan, and one is for some planning assistance that we hope to help with some of our projects.
Sure. As we were working through as we were working with the consultant who will be engaged for the country club, the board identified some additional services that they were looking for in terms of engagement, both with the community and with the board and with the various stakeholders. So what we did is we asked the consultants to identify how we can do this in such a way as we maximize transparency, maximize making sure we get the input that we need from as many of the stakeholder groups as possible. And they came up with a new proposal. Now, approximately 52,000 is just what the rate was previously. And then there's about another 34,000 that was in addition to that for us to basically get to a point where we feel we've addressed all of the potential stakeholder requirements and communications. In terms of the consultant working with us, there was an additional about 35,000 that was included. The board voted to go ahead with that because we felt in this particular project it's essential that we send the message to the public that we're going to do whatever we're going to maximize our effort to be as transparent and as communicative as possible and make sure that we get the input and the requirements that we need. Additionally, a big portion of that was for a greater degree of market analysis. So there were different levels of market analysis that they would offer, and we felt by the additional money was worth getting the higher level of market analysis that goes with the overall consultant solutions. So when we are looking at different possibilities, different options, the data that supports tells us what those options are is more in depth and more complete than was originally anticipated. So that's the reason for the addition. And I just want to make the distinction that what really is additional is about $34,000. And we felt that would be, we should do that with the ARPA funding that we have, take advantage of it and make it happen.
50, Mick is correct. 50,000 of it was in the budget for next year.
Correct.
So
Because we're going to overlap the total amount for the engagement. We were going to need to overlap a portion of it because we had the grant from the state that paid for 132. We had, I think, about 30.
correct.
Basically,
About $30,000
with 50 on our own. We negotiated with the consultant so that this is going to go over into about June or July timeframe, and they understood that we would have to budget it next year to make up those dollars. So now,
So here's what I'm hearing, and I hope I'm understanding this correctly, but this entire page here is good news because you're not leaving money on the table. That's what it sounds like to me. And kudos to the Board of Selectmen for using these dollars effectively while they are available. That's what it sounds like we're doing, and that's terrific. And I hope the cupola comes out really nice.
thank you, Susan. And
I will add the one.
I didn't say it had a lot to do with obviously Tony identifying
because I know how much that's going to cost. But go ahead.
I will just mention the one remaining. There's about $26,000 remaining in funds, and it's our our plan to use that for early voting costs, which we were not, we didn't have them calculated by the time I did this, so that's why
Right.
we'll do those
Right.
in December.
Now, the
Right.
additional 20,000, I didn't get to that. I just want to let you know that that's really for what I'm considering staff augmentation. That is for a consultant who has been working with us. We use a consultant from Rex to engage with our EDC organization. He also helped us with the grant applications that we did, that we've done for the country club and for, what was the other one, Tony?
The housing, the one for the planning grant,
For the planning grant. So,
for the planner, town planner,
yes, for Goma, New York, for our
for
town.
going to New York, yeah.
So he's been engaged with us. He understands what's going on here. And as we look at what we have between the lot SIP, between the country club, between Goman, between the center building that we need to do, the police station that we may need to do something with. Generally speaking, there are a number of different projects. We were looking for someone whose sole responsibility it is to help us manage that, to help us really make sure we're taking a more umbrella view, if you will, in terms of all the different aspects and all the different projects that we're doing. Where part of the grant for the country club includes approximately $7,000 specifically for project management. If we can leverage those funds, and we're waiting for concurrence, we're waiting for confirmation that we can leverage those funds with this 20,000, we get this gentleman for a year for him to help us as we progress through all of these different projects we're working on.
Any questions for Mika or for Tony on this? This is a really terrific update. If not,
Very excited.
I think we can go to funding requests. And Tony, would you recommend that we have to do these all one at a time? It looks to me when I look at the paperwork.
Yes, I would
Yeah,
do
you
them one
can
at a
do it.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I will entertain a motion for line item transfer 2425-6 in the amount of $85,876.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Questions? Tony, do you want to say anything about this?
Nope,
Okay. All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Anybody against? Seeing none, no abstentions, it's unanimous. Okay. I will entertain a motion for line item transfer 2425-7 in the amount of $20,000. Is there a motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Gay, you got that? And any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody against it? No abstentions, it's unanimous. Okay, I will entertain a motion for line item transfer 2425-08 in the amount of $9,399.60.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Yeah, you got somebody?
She got it.
Is there
ahead.
a discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Okay, that passed unanimously also. I will entertain a motion for line item transfer 2425-09 in the amount of $64,435.40.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or discussion? Tony's already explained it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Looks unanimous. Anybody have a problem? No? Okay, good. Thank you. This is also art. Yeah. I will entertain a motion for line item transfer 2425-10 in the even amount of $87,000.
So
I'll make the
moved.
motion. I'll make the motion. Beth will
Second.
second it. Okay, good. Any questions?
Tony, this isn't the entire amount, it's a portion of the entire mower replacement scheduled, right?
for the 87,000, that's for the
Correct.
entire mower.
That's the entire, oh, so it's just one mower.
One mower.
Got it.
It's
Thank
a
you.
very large mower.
It's $87,000 worth of mower. Okay, that's a lot of lawn.
I will mention,
expected it to be more.
I just want to mention that the other thing is that we did review this process with our town council. Just
Okay,
to make sure that this process that we're using is in keeping with our charter.
okay.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 No, anybody against? It's unanimous, thank you. I will make a motion to approve line item transfer number 2425-11 in the amount of $33,357.87. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, since they really need it.
Yeah,
Okay, any questions or concerns?
Can you help me understand what this is?
Dwight?
It's a grooming machine that actually goes and grooms the infields, grooms all the ball fields. It'll groom center field, all the areas within the infield area. Right now,
So
the one they have is like an antique, and they keep.
we don't contract any of this out. We do it all ourselves.
Correct, our
Already
parks guys do it, yeah.
Parks Department.
And
Thank
it is
you.
It is replacing existing equipment that's on its way out.
It's gotta be, it's ancient, that piece of equipment.
It'll also give you a haircut if you want it, so. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, looks unanimous. Thank you. Still working on the American Rescue Plan. I will make a motion for approval of line item transfer 2425-12 in the amount of $25,500.
moved.
Second.
Okay, and any questions or concerns about this one?
Very happy about the center sidewalk project moving forward.
Yeah,
We got the bids back today,
Real
actually.
good. Real good.
it's about time.
Yep.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Nope, it's unanimous. Okay. I will make a motion to approve line item transfer 2425-13 in the amount of $40,000.
Second and agreed again. Great job getting this going, Mika.
So Tony, this is another
Team effort.
component of the,
Right, so the first one is for the engineer to be our project representative for drawings, for,
uh-huh,
as, the documentation throughout the state grant documentation, et cetera, et cetera. The second one is for a project representative to actually visit the site
okay.
and,
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Looks unanimous. I will make a motion to approve line item transfer 2425-14 in the amount of $39,510. This
So
is
moved.
also ARPA.
Second.
Any questions? Concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Unanimous. I will make a motion for approval of line item transfer 2425-15 in the amount of $66,897.44.
Second.
This is the
That's
police vehicle. Any questions or issues? Looks like Javier has one behind him there, police vehicle. Somebody, be careful, whatever you're doing.
Now, what is that red light there?
You're in your car, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, man.
All right. Good timing, Javier. Nicely done. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in opposition? Sounds good. All right. That one's unanimous also. I will make a motion for line item transfer, approval of line item transfer 2425-16 in the amount of $13,620. This is for the ADA compliant security doors. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or concerns? Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Looks unanimous. Any opposition? Looks unanimous. Okay. I will make a motion for approval of line item transfer 2425-17 in the amount of $17,720. Is there a second?
Second.
This is the famous cupola. Okay, is this coming off the $42 million, by the way, Dwight?
It was. We're not doing that 42.
We're not sure. Okay, all right, fine. Any questions or concerns about this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Seeing none, looks unanimous. Ooh, was that the
That's
last one?
That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Well
good.
done. Well done, guys.
Very nicely done, town hall. Good job. Okay, I think I need a motion to approve the minutes of October 17, 2024. I cannot make the motion, nor can I vote on this. I'm going to abstain because I wasn't there. So do I need a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, questions, corrections?
No, I think Donovan did a fantastic job filling your very large shoes.
There you
Very
go.
good.
Nicely done, Donovan. Thank you. Thank you.
Add an earpiece and
There you go. All right, all in favor?
I,
Can't vote. Okay, so except for me. All
And
right,
I'm abstaining as well. I wasn't there.
okay. And I believe we have the first selectmen's report. Or did you already give it?
Thank you for the work as far as the ARP funds are concerned. That was a big piece of what we did over the course during our meeting. Over the course of the last month or so, we've been working with a number of different organizations specifically to see what we can do down in the business district and see what we can do about vacancies, et cetera. We've just recently engaged Connecticut Main Street Organization, and we've joined them and their resources and one of the first things they'll do is an assessment as to properties that are down there, an inventory and an assessment of properties down there, which ones are filled, which ones are not, what the rates are, things of that nature. That'll help us in terms of moving forward with that. We also, the Board of Selectmen also moved to to award the community center bid. So we awarded the bid for the renovation of the community center. That was cared for. And I think most of you realize because of the drought conditions that existed, they ratified a ban, an open fire burn ban. That was also ratified. Goldman and York, our town planner, is now engaged, very much engaged. They're working out very, very well. He's starting to work with our TPC and our building officer, Christine, to look at some of our TPC regs and see what changes are made. We do have an application that was filed for a complex on 804 Fountain Street. And that will be considered at the next Board of Ed, but that's an 80 unit facility that they're looking for, and they need some changes, or they need some exceptions. There's some exceptions. There's some things that need to be done from a TPZ standpoint. So that's something that we're excited about, looking very closely at, and certainly is something that could add a lot from a town economic development standpoint. We met with the DEI committee as well. They provided us a report. We will be doing a Lunar New Year proclamation this year, and they're also beginning a Witness Stone program that you'll be hearing more about. It's a history of slavery in our town specifically, and they provide some information and some insight into individuals just to honor those who have helped in terms of our town. And one thing that's very important, town council, is there was some question at the Board of Selectmen meeting, a couple of meetings now, and town council had to rule on the participation of Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance in regards to other boards and commissions. No, let me put it, we already know that you can't be on other boards and commissions, but they ruled as far as other government agencies are concerned. Government agencies would include building committees and other ad hoc committees and things of that nature. So there's still some communication and some conversation going on this, but basically the charter interpretation so far is that you can't, we can't. So we need to kind of consider this. It's not something, to take up today, but I want to make you aware of it, because what we may need to do is make some changes in terms of assignments that we have currently. And it may be a simple matter of liaising versus as full participation in.
Mika, could I ask you, does that imply to ad hocs as well?
Yes, yes, it does.
Dear, okay.
Because an ad hoc is, once it's formed, it's considered to be considered to be an agency, government agency. So there's some discussion still going on this, but I just wanted to make you aware of it because that's obviously affects a number of us, some on the Board of Selectmen as well.
Thank you.
So I imagine that puts Dwight and Beth in danger in terms of being Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus at the upcoming candy cane distribution at the firehouse, which,
Fortunately.
we have to
Fortunately,
work
we're
through
gonna
that.
be
I
okay with
understand
that,
that.
I
That's a
think.
difficult thing.
'Cause we
Okay.
don't want to change too much at
Wanna
one
change
time,
that.
so.
Any
Bah,
questions for
bah,
Mika?
humbug, bah, humbug.
Any questions for Mika? Concerns?
Oh, I just wanted, last thing, I'm sorry, Susan, just the last thing. Now we have selected what we call a technical assistance committee to work with the consultant at the country club. We expect to have a full kickoff. We're having a meeting probably next week or the week after, and then a full kickoff on the 11th. Same day as our Board of Selectmen meeting, and we're moving forward. We're very anxious to move forward and excited in terms of what they're looking at right now and the discussions we've already had. But this is finally, and I thought I'd just let everyone know, this has taken way longer than any of us anticipated and any of us wanted it to take. But we did lose at least 3 months waiting to see if we get half of the money to pay for it, which is very important. And then there was some extensive discussion in regards to how we want to do it. So I feel like the time that's taken was really essential to get to where we are and be in a position where we can actually afford to do what I feel this consultant's going to do. So we're very excited about that and looking forward to it.
Good news. Good to hear that.
Mika,
Ironically,
I just have a quick question for Mika.
Please.
go ahead.
I just wanted to follow up back on the thing. So if it finds out that there is a conflict,
Yes.
the town attorney comes, would you approach that person and ask them what they would like to do? Whether or not they like, which they would like to serve on, if there is a conflict?
Yes, yeah, we'll have discussions with the individuals and identify
Okay.
what's the best course of action is based on what they're looking for and based on what the town might be able to
Sure.
use, Dwight.
Okay. Okay.
So, but I
Curious,
want,
that's all.
again, give it some consideration because that seems to be the way things are leaning. So I know a lot of you, if not most of you, are engaged in different things. So it's impacting and we'll have some further discussion probably at the next meeting about it.
Any other questions?
I just have one quick question.
Ironic, yes, go ahead.
Someone asked me what was going on with the reevaluation of houses. I don't know if there's any update from Mika or Tony as to when that process might end.
Tony, I think you know better than I do. I believe it's in February, Tom, but Tony, why don't you?
I'm sorry, Tom, you blinked out on me when you halfway through.
That's usually what I do, blink out on you. Try to. It was just someone asked me about, when the process of reevaluating the housing.
Oh, okay, certainly. So we're required to file by February 1st with the OPM unless we ask for an extension. I don't believe we're planning on filing for an extension. So we'll have the revaluation completed by then. At some point before that, when she's finished with all the residential properties, Marshall will be sending out letters with the old assessment, the new assessment, and in clear language, we'll say, do not use the old mill rate to calculate your new tax bill because the mill rate will most likely change as a result of the assessment changes. So, and we plan to do a lot of outreach on that so people understand the relationship between the assessment and the mill rate and how they are dependent on each other. And so we've been discussing how we can sort of, with how we can get that message out there.
I wish you luck.
Very important, Tom, if people are asking you about it. These letters are coming out probably starting at the end of November. Really important that they look at the letter and respond or react to the letter because it outlines how much time they have and what time period they have to take any action should they wish to do that. So let them know if people are talking to you about it, let them know the letter's coming. When you get it, look at it carefully and respond to it or react to it if that's something you want to do.
All right. Any other questions or issues
Just
for
just
Tony
quickly,
or Mika?
the Fountain Street you mentioned fountains. Did you say 80 units or 8 units?
80,
80 units.
approximately 80 units, correct. Correct. It's a property, if you're going down Fountain from Woodbridge into New Haven.
Got
you're
it.
Going
Yeah.
down Fountain Street, you know where the overpass for the highway is?
Yep,
That's
yep.
where the line is, exactly where the New Haven line is.
Yep.
It's literally on the right-hand side as you're going down Fountain Street. It's right on and it borders the Merritt Parkway. So that
It's
little
not-
corner
It's
lot
not the
there is
country.
exactly
It's
where
not the country club. It's right before, kind of before. Okay,
it's a bit before the country club. That is correct.
got it.
That is
Okay.
correct.
Okay. Are there any, ironically, liaison reports? No? Okay. Well, in that case, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we're gonna vote. It's unanimous, I'm
Happy
sure.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Oh, and don't forget, the Interfaith Community Service is coming up this coming Monday at Assumption Church.
Susan, I hadn't heard anything I haven't seen anything about that. Thank you for mentioning it.
So the Interfaith Community Service, the 3 choirs are coming together.
Yep.
I'm in the choir, of course.
It's a wonderful event, actually.
But
yeah.
it's the Congregational Church, it's Congregation B'nai Jacob, and it's Catholic Church, and it's usually a lovely service, and community, all community members from all 3
That's- you said
congregations
that was
at
Monday
large
night?
show up. Monday night,
What time, Susan?
November 25th at 7. And this year, the Catholic Church is the host. You know, we rotate the,
Yeah,
Close to
okay, good.
okay? So hope to see some of you there, and if I don't, safe and healthy holiday.
Yep,
Thank you, Susan.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Happy
Thank you.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Thanksgiving.
All right, see you later.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
You're welcome.